This is going to be Batman issue 142, and I am the Comicstorian. We're known for taking comic books and turning them into audio dramas so that you know what is actually going on in the world of comics and what you should be adding to your collection at your local comic book store. If you want to keep this channel alive, consider supporting us on Patreon or YouTube memberships. But let's continue. Sometime in the future, Batman stands over the body on his operating table. The face is white, the lips are red. The hair is green, but this isn't the Joker, and he knows it. He cuts into the man, removing the red pill. A clue, but it's empty. He looks down at the two halves and he recognizes the red helmet once worn by the man, now known as the Joker. But only two. He doesn't know why. Batman confirmed years ago that the red mask meddling created 3 versions of the Joker. We now go to the past, to the beginning of it all. The Joker remembers Batman coming at him. He remembers the vat of chemicals, and now he stands on the hill, laughing maniacally into the downpour, changed into the Joker. But someone comes up behind him. It's a second Joker. The second Joker grabs the first, throwing him to the ground and beginning to strangle him. But then, there's a third. He grabs the second Joker, and the first Joker is watching, tears in his eyes as the life is choked out of him. Elsewhere, a woman comes out to throw her trash bag. But the Joker is behind her suddenly. "Shh, it's me!" he hisses as he covers her mouth. Her eyes widen in shock as he whirls her around. There's a concern on the Joker's face. "Sally, I know how I look, but you gotta believe me. It's all because I love you," he tells her. He looks around nervously before turning and running away into the night. "I can fix this! Just wait for me, Sally! Wait for me!" he calls out to her as he disappears. The woman stands there for a moment before her husband comes out onto the porch. "Jody, are you okay? Who is that?" he asks as he holds his wife. She shakes her head in disbelief. "I don't know," she whispers. 6 months go by and the Joker is sitting in a dark apartment. The owner's long dead on the floor nearby. The Joker finally stands and he steps over their body as he walks into the bathroom. The light clicks on and he stares at himself in the mirror. With a sigh, he begins to apply makeup to his skin. But the face that looks back at him is one of the original Red Hood. "It wasn't my fault. I must have been betrayed. Someone in the gang must have talked to the cops, to that Batman," the Red Hood says. Joker nods, smiling. "Finally, you and I are on the same page." Back at the GCPD building, Lieutenant Gordon is sitting at his desk, staring into his coffee cup. Bullock walks over, nudging his partner, informing him that the acting commissioner would like to see him. Gordon walks into the office, and McLobe motions for him to take a seat. "I know I'm only in this role until the mayor picks someone else to replace him, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to run a clean ship," McLobe says as he throws Gordon's report on the Ace chemical case on the desk, pointing out that it reads like Gordon is a fan of the new vigilante they call the Batman. Gordon shakes his head. "Sir, I just wrote the truth. Batman saved everyone, saved the Red Hood gang from killing thousands." Gordon begins to state, but McLobe stops him and orders him to write it again. "And this time, remember you're a cop." He snaps at him and Gordon storms out of the office as the acting commissioner watches him go. He steps out into the hall with his cup of coffee, stopping by another detective. "Detective Gabrus, Gordon is a problem for you and me," McLobe says quietly. "We've got to solve this problem for good," the acting commissioner says. Gabrus nods in understanding and smiles slightly. We now go to sometime in the future, jumping ahead in our story. The Joker is caught again, and this time Commissioner Barbara Gordon believes that they should lock him away. But this time, in his own mind, the Joker is brought to Arkham and hooked to a machine. It's here that he's trapped in his mind, endlessly fighting against Batman and terrorizing Gotham. But there's a doctor that couldn't help himself, wanting to study the most malevolent mind that ever lived. Barbara and Batman found the body with a note hanging above it. "See you soon" is all it said. We now go to the past. The Joker is disguised. The world doesn't know him yet. He sits at a bar listening to the tough guys crack jokes. And when he cracks one of his own at their expense, the tough guy stomps forward, grabbing Joker by the shirt, lifting him into the air. "Oh, you're dead!" the tough guy snaps. Joker just smiles, trying to fight down a fit of giggles. "Like your love life, big boy?" He chuckles. The man throws the Joker to the ground as the rest of the tough guys surround him. They begin to kick the Joker, relentlessly hitting him again and again. "Hey, guys, had enough," the even bigger guy says as he pulls the thugs off of the disguised Joker. But Joker is already on his feet. He grabs a bottle, smashing it over the counter. "They say someone gets stabbed in Gotham every 30 seconds. Poor guy." Joker laughs as he stabs the bottle into one of the goons' throats. "Hey, that's enough," the guy that saved Joker says, stopping the Joker's attack by grabbing his hand. Joker whirls around at him and is shocked that he recognizes the man. 22? You weren't, Joker says, recognizing the man from his time in the Red Hood gang. But 22's eyes widen. "Boss, is that really you?" 22 shakes his head, and he explains that they took off in the getaway van when the cops showed up at Ace Chemicals. "Sorry, I should have." 22 begins to state, but the Joker smiles, tossing the broken bottle away, patting the big man on the shoulders. 22! It's all good. The two leave the bar, and one of the other patrons gets on his cell. "Hey, it's me. I can't be sure, but I think I just heard a ghost," the man whispers into his phone. Back at their secret hideout, the number 2 of the Red Hood gang stares at his phone in shock, surprised to hear about the survival of their old boss. He turns to the rest of the gang. "Yeah, our old boss just poked his head up. I think we'd best kill him," number 2 says. Elsewhere in the city, another masked gang is knocking over a jewelry store, storming out of the door. Hopping in their car and speeding away at the sound of approaching police sirens, a masked gang is speeding through the streets of Gotham. They finally round a corner and find Batman standing in the street, waiting for them. The goons try to swerve out of the way, but Batman leaps onto the car and begins to repeatedly punch through the glass. Moments later, the GCPD catches up to the criminals, squad cars screeching to a stop and Gordon jumping out, readying his weapon. But he finds the thugs have already been tied up and are waiting at the hood of their car. One of the other officers steps up next to Gordon. "This is the Batman, isn't it? Should I call for backup?" he asks quickly, looking up at the shadowy rooftops in fear, but Gordon shakes his head. "No, I think I've got this," he says, and the officers then finish the arrest on the robbers, with Gordon stepping into the alleyway, climbing a nearby fire escape. He stops halfway up where he finds Batman waiting like a gargoyle. "You know, would it kill you to stick around for once?" Gordon asks, and Batman shakes his head. "Not as long as Commissioner McLoeb has me at his sights," Batman growls, looking at Gordon, pointing out that they've had 3 separate gangs copying the Red Hood gang's tactics. "The Red Hood gang is still out there. They need to be our focus," Batman hisses, and Gordon nods. "Sure, but are they even a threat anymore? I mean, their leader is dead," Gordon points out. Batman stares at him for a moment, not answering. "He is dead, isn't he, Batman?" Gordon finally asks, and Batman looks away, explaining that he couldn't find the body. The chemicals weren't strong enough to dissolve a body that rapidly. Gordon sighs, rubbing his eyes. "Great, we're battling copycat gangs and just recovered from the Riddler, and now we have to possibly worry about some mildly corroded genius gang leader," Gordon whispers. But when he looks up again, Batman is gone. Meanwhile, Joker and 22 are walking through the streets of Gotham. 22 is talking, but the Joker is barely listening. Suddenly, there's a sound of fluttering above them, and the Joker looks up to see Batman swoop by, his cape blocked by the moonlight for a moment. Fear runs through the Joker, and he rushes away, finding himself at the edge of Gotham Bay. But Joker can't stop smiling, even as fear races through his body. He falls to his knees and he looks down into the waters, seeing the man that he used to be. He reaches out and begins to strangle this man, choking the man he used to be and beginning to laugh. "Don't you understand? I am chaos!" the Joker shouts in fear. Suddenly he stops. The body of his former self is floating away, and he turns to find somebody watching him. "Chaos, that fear, isn't really chaos at all," the man says, and Joker glares at him, stalking forward. "I've been following you for months, and I'm impressed." The Joker reaches out, grabbing him by the throat, demanding to know who he is. I am the man that can teach you how to harness your mind and never fear again. To be the greatest force this world has ever known. The man gasps. Joker pushes him to the ground. And what makes you so qualified? The man smiles at him. Because I'm the smartest man in the world, and I trained Batman. Sometime in the future, Batman has begun to hunt the Joker again, but it isn't easy. Gotham has become a nightmare of darkness. Duke has been infected, and his powers are absorbing all of the light in the city, plunging Gotham into an eternal night. Everyone is infected by the audible virus, the spread of laughter. The world is the Joker now. Batman pulls himself back into the streets, the shadows shifting as people turn to look at him with glowing red eyes, their mouths pulled into hideous grins. A world of Jokers. This story is just beginning, and it's 3 issues deep and coming out weekly. So if you want to know what's going to happen next, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week right here.